But I also realized that I can't yet die because I have friends who rely on me and my family. And my thought since 5th grade has always been that I can't kill myself, because otherwise my parents will think, what will they think if their son committed suicide? I can't do that to them. So that was since 5th grade. I've been always that has kept me alive, basically. But I realized that I was very judgmental on myself and self-destructive on my eating, on my behavior. And but I realized that I need to change something.
Aloha, our beautiful listeners and viewers. My name is Krista Ralaksmi-Titten, coming to you from beautiful San Diego, California. And welcome to our Abundance in Action podcast. Today we have a very special guest, this time again from beautiful Estonia. And he is a very special man. His name is Harri Parker, and he has many talents. The basis to it all was probably already built in No Gymnasium and later in Tallinn's University of Technology. And one of them is to be a mechanical engineer, to solve problems, to iron out even the smallest of details. He knows the complexity of machines inside out. He's also a project leader at work and does his best to be the best to support everyone to thrive at work and produce the best results. And last year, Harri participated in the Wildfit 90-day challenge and shortly after became a Wildfit coach himself. This changed so much in him and his life that boosted his life to another level. Not only did he get a new car and bought his own apartment, but also got another level at his mechanical engineering work, but also started his own company on the side. In addition to all that, he was also featured in the local TV in Estonia, where he talked about Wildfit. The cherry on top of the cake became also his new girlfriend, who he found actually at the Wildfit dinner. So to say, Wildfit had a ripple effect to the overall well-being and his life on every level. Welcome, Harri.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. So to start this beautiful conversation off, I know that you have a very interesting morning ritual. And as we have lots of high performance visiting our podcast, what's your morning rituals or morning routine like? What did you do this morning?
Every morning, I usually wake up 6:30. And I mostly, first of all, I have set routine. I have a glass of water so that I can get a little bit of hydration. And then I actually go to the toilet. Then I actually weigh myself. After that, I have my meditation, usually like 15 minutes or something like that. I sometimes do guided meditation or sometimes just follow some meditation music. I have started doing 5 Tibetan rites as exercise before the shower. Then I have a nice breakfast, usually like some eggs or bacon or the same alka-geyser that I'm drinking all the time. And after that, I'm ready. And now I've been enjoying nice winter times. And at least once a week, I go to winter swimming in the morning so that to get the boost of energy in the mornings. And then usually I start working at 8:30. So 2 hours is my usual morning routine. And that gives me I'm set in stone in that sense for the day to come. So that's what I do every morning. And some mornings it will be less of those things depending on what is on the schedule. But that's what I try to do every week and every day.
Yeah, so Estonia is very known of not only for our saunas, but also that winter swimming, which is hugely popular recently. Can you just tell the viewers why is this good and how does that work? How much is the water temperature? What's the outside temperature? What's the deal with it? You jump in and then what?
Today was an interesting day because we had minus 14 outside and a little bit windy. So, and the water is around zero because it you have to kick the ice away and then the ice will come back quite shortly. So you have to make when you go there, you might need to make a hole a bit. And then you go in. I usually stay 1 minute, 2 minutes in, depending on how long I can stand for it. And then you come out, try yourself up, put clothes on, or go to, if you have sauna options, then you do that as well. And mostly it is for cold exposure. And everybody knows or have heard a little bit about the Iceman Wim Hof. he's very proponent about cold exposure. The reason for that is that when we are stressing our body a little bit, then that makes our cells actually want to revitalize again and want to rebuild and repair. And because cold is not such a drastic measure, then actually we don't break completely down, but at the same time we are stimulating new growth, and that actually changes our skin cells. It will start also our other organism, and basically our immune system will get like a kick in the balls to start working. But there is actually no like danger, but it's still we are making it work, and therefore it is very good for your health and your like energy levels, and also like your in general, like a lot of people who have start doing it is good for not getting ill anymore, or just having more composure, and also better skin and energy.
Yeah, and it's definitely boosting your immune system too.
Yes, because there like many people like there's especially nowadays like the question: do you get like viruses when you're do winter training? You can get them, but probably your body is much more capable of handling them, and therefore you're like will have a very, very slight course of it, and you don't get that like drastically ill anymore. And for me, like sometimes as well, like in autumn time, like you might feel that something might be coming up, but if nothing comes up really, so that I will be ill for a day or so. Like sometimes you have a sniffle, but that's kind of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I myself, I used to do this cold swimming in many places, even in Norway for some period of time. And then, of course, when I lived so long time in the tropics, I got very spoiled with very warm water. But last year here in San Diego, I started to also go in. Of course, it's nothing to compare to Estonian temperatures. But after it got really kind of cooler and we have really strong cold winds here, I decided to actually start just like cold morning showers, and also do the showers alternate the warm and cold before going to bed to help with the sleep. And that was also a really nice new tool, which has helped to better my sleep in so many ways too.
Yes, when our body temperature lowers, it is good for our sleep, but at the same time, like alternating it actually also it gives the stress and then releases it, so we're not overexposing, and also the warm is a little bit stressful, and balancing that out gives your body a signals to actually work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you have quite an interesting background. You are in mechanical engineering, and I don't know much about engineering, but for me, as like on the sideline, it feels like so far out there. It's like almost like unreachable thing. Like I don't know exactly what engineers do per se, but it feels very complicated and very like oftentimes also that okay, these people are so rational. I don't even know if I can like have the ability to talk to them, But you have proven completely the opposite. I know that's probably hasn't been that all the time, but we met each other actually through the Wildfit Challenge, which I just recently went through with you as one of the main coaches in the Quantum Shift group. So, and I have got to know you, and you are such a heartwarming person, and you're such a good coach, and you have also ability to listen and be a good empath and be there for people to create that safe environment. But can you just tell us a little bit more about that mechanical engineering? How did you even came up to that, and then like what do you like love and enjoy about that work, and how is it you help the world through mechanical engineering?
For me, like it kind of like everything happens. Also, like I followed my brother through all the schools, and then I ended up in mechatronics in Italian University of Technology. And studying mechatronics, my plan was to start building robots and autonomous things and all that parts. But I actually worked in the laboratory for electronics a little bit, because in mechatronics you learn mechanics, electronics, and programming and IT for all of it. So to combine all the sectors together. And then when we finished bachelor, one of my course mates and my dear friend actually founded a company that was supposed to do a home automation and mechatronic project. However, when we needed some like programs and licensing and stuff like that, we also see that those things can be used for more specific areas like mechanical engineering. And we were lucky, or just when we asked for it, we received, talking about abundance. Then when we think that how we can serve, we found an amazing client that wanted some mechanical engineering work just for designing and drafting different elements. Then we started doing that. And because that was a very stable workflow, we started expanding on that side. And the mechatronic part has been more on a sideline, but nowadays it's coming back again on different projects and doing more automation. And like at the moment, the company I work for, Inzero, actually there's been news in Estonia now that we are actually working, making a mechanical design for a camera that's gonna be part of the new NASA mission to the moon. So that we are part of making the camera enclosure for it, or designing it at least. So that's like where we have reached from, starting from like just drafting drawings, by now actually designing things that are going to the moon in 2 years. So that's an amazing part of it. But like me, as what I do mostly is bulk handling materials, conveyors and stuff like that. So if you imagine like in airport, you have those conveyors that transport your luggage, basically designing those kind of things. But I'm doing it for like metal or gravel or stuff like that in the mining industry. But basically the same principle. Some mechanical elements need to move, some things need to stay still, and make sure that everything works in conjunction with others. And so that's part what I'm mostly involved with. And I've been now doing it for like 8 years or even more. And I love the details in it. I've noticed that in some cases, like bigger projects or sometimes can be tiring. But then when you actually finalize something, or you figure out an idea and make sure that you accomplish it, then that process is amazing. And today, actually, I had a task that was, because I'm a project leader and a team leader, I'm not doing that much engineering myself. But there was a task that I wasn't, like, we haven't done it so many times. And then there was a question, like, what's the most time efficient to do? Then I actually took it as a learning opportunity for others. And I did it myself in like 47 minutes. And I let others watch how I was doing so they can learn for it. And that's what I actually love about this recently the most, is actually the coaching part. And that comes where it comes in my Wildfit coaching, that I have learned it when I studied for that. And it actually helps me to be a better mechanical engineer, especially as a team leader and the project leader, because as a leader, your job is to get the most out of your team members, not to do the best work yourself, but to allow them to do the best work. And for that, you actually need to coach them and make sure that they are well taken care of so they can shine. And that definitely learning how to coach Wildfit actually has helped me to how to coach people in general. So that has definitely been part of that.
So now you also shared with me some stories from your school years, that it wasn't always, paradise and easy and so on. And knowing that background and also topic connected to that, it of course has made you so much stronger, but also it is still a problem for so many people in the world. So can you say some words about, maybe you even have some stories you want to share about how was it to grow up as a young man and what challenges did you face?
It's a little bit touchy subject as our histories often are, but at the same time, as I explained to you as well, I'm willing to talk about it because I see so much benefits from it. Because for my story, basically since like second or third grade, I was kind of pushed away. Nobody, like I didn't have many friends because I lived like 5 kilometers away from like the village that I went to school for. So I didn't like hang out after school, and I've always been a little bit gifted with my knowledge and ability to solve, especially rational problems, maths, physics, all that part. And therefore, I didn't get so many friends, and like even like girls didn't want to dance with me on like class evenings and stuff like that, which left me a huge mark my whole life until this summer when I finally started dealing with those things. And when I went to the basic 7th grade, I kind of was bullied constantly for 2.5 years. And that was a struggle for myself. And like when I see about people talking about being bullied and how it has affected their life, then for me, somehow it didn't change me. I still kept to be my composure, that everything has to be correct based on rules. And I always liked it. But at the same time, I always wanted to help others. And for me, those dynamics that happen in teenagers or children, I didn't get them. And because for me, I didn't go to kindergarten, so I didn't have that social upbringing with other kids. I had like neighbors to play with, but mostly I played in my own sandbox, literally. And what I realized later now, that I didn't understand the dynamics. For me, like it was very weird that when we went on a bus, then all the girls wanted to stay in the opening of where the door is and let other boys sitting in the first row pull their hair and stuff like that. And which I understand is normal in that age. But for me, it's like, why would they let to do it? And I put the effort in to make sure that I get the first row seat so that they can't be bullied, because I didn't like that behavior. But at the same time, then the girls found the other way how to get harassed, in my opinion. But for some reason, that's how our upbringing is. And for me, it was such in some sense traumatic that I didn't like it. And when I went to the high school, then after all that problems that I had, I actually had somewhat a mantra or for myself that I don't really need to socialize very well because I'm anyway smarter than them. So they have to come to me anyway. And that, of course, has led me struggling with friends in my real life afterwards, in university time and when work life, because when I started believing that meant every time somebody talks to me, I often, of course, go to the thought that what do they need from me? Because that's the only reason why they should talk to me. And that part was actually quite difficult to pass. And also like the summertime when I had done the Wildfit, I got my health in order, body physically, but also it helped my mental health. And I was able to finally clear those blocks, clear those beliefs that I had, and actually change my life around. And that's why Wildfit has given me such a rapid cascade effect of development, because I was able to deal with things that I had in the past so much. And what for me, and now when I'm looking it back, and probably in this January, actually was first time I was able to believe in myself that I wouldn't change my story, because the way I grew up is the reason why I'm who I am, because I never allowed anybody to change my opinion, to make me believe their opinions, or because on the first year of 7th grade, they told me that, oh, we will have a week and then we will make you compliant to our ways. And I said that, no, that's not going to happen. And it took 2.5 years for them to give up, but I didn't change. And when people when they're talking about how they were bullied and how it was so lowering the self-esteem and all that part, for me, it's probably still unconscious a little bit, but consciously, I've always been better. I always fought back. I always didn't allow anybody to push me too down, because I always rose up and just walked away. I didn't care. And it also comes from the fact that I haven't been very forthcoming with my wanting to be living, because probably since 5th grade, I have had suicidal thoughts, basically because I didn't fit in the life. I didn't fit in the world where we live in, because for me, it was weird. I couldn't fit in. And that meant that I didn't have nothing to lose. So in every situation I went in, what was the worst thing that can happen? Usually when we have is the fear of death. And for me, that would have been a relief. So I went on every situation knowing that whatever happens, I will be coming out anyway. Because if I die, I die. Who cares? I don't care. And it was so much easier to go through of life. But at the same time, I realized that I might be more risk-taking in driving because of that. Now, because my life is more in order and I don't have that thought anymore that I don't want to live anymore. And therefore, my behavior has been better a little bit, but I still don't fear death in that sense, because it's all part of the universe in some sense. And I recently watched a video called The Egg, or the story of the egg, that we're all part of the same cycle, that when we die, then we reincarnate, and actually everybody living person is actually the same person in the same egg, which was an interesting conception. And for me, I don't care what happens to my physical body in that sense. And because I don't have so much responsibility at the moment, because I don't have a family yet. And probably if that happens, then my viewpoint will change. But this has allowed me to take everything on without a worry. And that also, what I've noticed is when I've been in that point myself, I can hear others talking their troubles. And then some sense, compared to what I thought about myself, those troubles are so meaningless in some sense, that I'm able to support them through it, because I've been always very good at supporting others, even in high school and also university time, and now especially in work life. I have found to be a very good girlfriend for different friends of mine, because I do listen to them and I'm very good at it. And but that also meant that I didn't find a girlfriend for myself, because I was in some sense friend zone so often, because they were happy to have a friend who can listen to them, because they can't talk to other people. Yeah, they can talk to their girlfriends, but it's very difficult. You can't find a male person that can understand them so well, and also to reflect what men will do. Because I have a friend that often comes to me like having discussions about men or about life, and it also seems that like I'm kind of one of the few or only person she can be open with it, because I don't charge. I listen, and that skill is actually I've been doing for a long time, because I loved always to talk about talking, but when I was talking, I instinctively talked about myself and never about them, because I liked myself in that sense, that I wouldn't have a problem talk like 8 hours straight about myself, and especially to the strangers, because then it's all new and you can just let it flow. But it also allowed me that I never judged. I never tried to explain them what they should do. I only explained them why they are doing what they're doing, because my brain somehow is more logical, and that's why I'm a good engineer as well. That I can see the reasons why people are thinking the way they are, especially when they're talking. I can spot the patterns. I can spot the thoughts there. And that's also why probably the coaching as a profession and as a passion was so close to the heart to me, because I was doing that daily before, but now I actually have the tools to do it properly and even better, and serve more people because of that. And especially nowadays when I've been Wildfit coach, and when I talk to people about why Wildfit and like other problems, then they also often comment that I should be just a general coach, or like a space holder, like the holding space and being there for people. And so my journey there has been full of ups and downs, mostly a lot of down, and last year a lot of up. But what I realized that I wouldn't be the person who I am without those struggles, because my confidence of staying myself, even though I didn't thought that I deserve anything, because everybody pushed me away and they didn't want to hang with me, or they don't want to be my friends. And I even realized last summer, 2019, that I was never good enough for anything, because my father kept telling me that everything can be done better. And then last summer, when he said that, when we did something in the garden with my brother, he said that, this time you have done it quite good, but I can't say that, because otherwise you will not do it better next time. And then I realized my whole childhood why I can't accept the compliment, because I always know myself what I can do better already. And therefore, if somebody tell me that was a good job, I know it wasn't, because I know 10 things that I can improve already. And that's still a little bit stuck behind my ears. But I'm working on it to be better at that, and to actually realize that, yes, I am good at what I do, but it's not always easy, because I already know how I can do better.
So now, people who have not heard about Wildfit, could you tell us what this is, how that works, and how maybe also your story, how you found it. And once I got to also dive more into Wildfit myself, I did also more research about you, and I saw some social media pictures popping up when quite many years ago of you. And first I looked at the pictures, and I actually didn't recognize you, because you had changed so much, like your face and everything. So and I know now, with my own story with Wildfit, and also many others in our group and others, that it's a very common thing that your physical body will change so much that you almost may have trouble to recognize yourself. So what's your story, how you got to Wildfit, and what is it? So if people have never heard about it.
Probably my physical body health. For me, a lot of times when I've been dealing with my body health, it's if I have a crush on somebody, then I want to look good, and I start exercising. I might eat healthier, but that's never a good reason. And at 6 years ago, I was 99 or something or even 4 years ago. For 99 kilograms was my highest that I reached. When I was a child, I was actually quite underweight because I was working in the dairy farm and working with animals. So you're always moving and doing stuff and lifting. And then I was always in a very good shape. And I'm still in good shape because of those exercises that I did in childhood. But at some point, I realized that I need to work something. And then I tried different things like restricting myself, dieting, not eating junk food, stuff like that. But it was always like a little bit yo-yo dieting, that you go down a little bit, then you go up again. And all the time you feel that you're restricting and it's only like a phase or like, and as Wildfit always says that like Wildfit is a lifestyle, not a diet, because diet is like usually meant for a short-term alteration of what you eat for some gain, but they can't last forever because our human consumption isn't only based on one thing all the time. And Wildfit in lifestyle-wise is meant so that we actually have different seasons, different cycles, what we go through, so that we support our body the best way. And actually, it's a living style. And how I come to was that in 2020 January was my lowest point ever, because I had a breakup just in 23rd of December, and I realized that again I was in that relationship mostly because I wanted to be in a relationship, because that was always start from my life, because nobody liked me in that way. So when I found the first person in some sense who was willing, then I overlooked some problems that maybe wasn't. And then when you get too much in deep, then of course you get hurt, because it was seen before already that it might not work out perfectly. So, but I didn't want to let it go because I was afraid. And as always, it is the more you're clinging and more you want something, the less you get. And then in January, as I mentioned, also with my mental health and my will to live. But I also realized that I can't yet die, because I have friends who rely on me and my family. And my thought since 5th grade has always been that I can't kill myself, because otherwise my parents will think, what will they think if their son committed suicide? I can't do that to them. So that was since 5th grade. I've been always, that has kept me alive, basically. But I realized that I was very judgmental on myself and self-destructive on my eating, on my behavior. And but I realized that I need to change something. And in January 2020, I ended up in a masterclass with Eric Edmeades, and he talked about health in general, like that we should drink plenty of water, breathing, and activities and exercise, how important they are. And also he was talking about his program Wildfit. And for me, it was like, yeah, what it is. And because there is like a 2-week test period, I thought to try it out. And with those 2 weeks, I made such a huge changes in my thinking that I signed up for the whole 3 months of the program. So it's a 3-month program where week by week we go through different enhancements and see how our body reacts and how our body behaves. And at some point, we're taking a break from unsupportive stuffs and taking holidays from them, and giving our body a break to repair and reset. And during the whole Wildfit program, I released 10 kilograms. 8 of it was fat. 2 kilograms was just junk that's stuck in our gut, because when we don't digest properly, when we have digestion issues, it gets stuck there and you don't poop it out, and it doesn't bode well for you. So when I had released all that, it was the physical reaction, because my face is smaller, my body is leaner, and my muscles from childhood and my DNA where I actually worked is still showing. I'm now trying to exercise more with 5D Better Rights, but I haven't been in the gym for almost 2 years now. So my body is much better health. But also when your body is much better health, your mind can be better. And this year in January, when Eric had another masterclass, he was talking about it, that the self-development is very great. There are so many great leaders out there. But often it is that if we don't have energy for it, if our bodies are not ready for it, if our mind is not ready for it, it's very difficult to take for it. I went to the Tony Robbins UPW in 2019, and for a couple of months it was amazing energy, amazing, great. I'm going to do better, and then back to the normal life and nothing. But Wildfit actually changed so much on me that I actually changed my life after that, and that's why we call also Wildfit as a lifestyle, because it's not like a short-term diet. It's actually how I live. And in the end, it brought me food freedom, where I can eat whatever I want. but I want different things. And also a good way to put it is that sometimes when we eat something that we know we shouldn't, we feel guilty. And sometimes if we say that, okay, we don't want this at the moment because I want to release some kilos and I'm gonna not eat something, then we feel regret. And those are the two feelings that we want to get rid of during the challenge, that we don't have any guilt because every experiment is a learning opportunity, and we don't want to feel regret because we know that it's not supporting our body and we don't really want it. And for me, beginning of this January, actually, there was a birthday party I went for, and they offered a Napoleon cake, which was my childhood favorite. And I just looked at it, I think, whole evening twice. First time saying like, yeah, I shouldn't eat it. And the second time I looked at it, and I like, yeah, I'm going to know how it makes me feel, and I don't want it anymore. And that's the big difference, not the should, but the want. I didn't want it anymore. And that I realized that, yeah, it was almost a year later, but like different foods come different times when you can finally release them and let go. And for me, that was probably the most brightest moment. I have given up a lot of other things like dairy products and gluten, and I made peace for myself not drinking alcohol anymore. I gave up alcohol before that because I realized that I'm not drinking it on false pretenses. But I did it because I didn't want, like I said that, yeah, I'm not drinking it because I know how it makes me feel and stuff like that. But after Wildfit, I can just say I don't want it because I don't like the taste. I don't like how it makes me feel. And I can actually say I don't want it. The same with the coffee that I gave up actually 2019 when I was in UPW, because I went from 13 cups a day from zero with like 2 days because I realized that I can't drink that many anymore because it's not good for my health. But if I keep like drinking 1 or 2 cups, it's always the question like which 2 cups I'm going to drink. Is it the morning and the lunch or the afternoon? Because when we're trying to give up on something, then it's sometimes more easier to give up cold turkey, because then we don't have a discussion with ourselves that, should we have it this time or not? But if we say that we never have it, then it's always the same. Yeah, we never have it. We don't want it. And Wildfit has cemented those thoughts in my brain, that there are things that I don't want anymore, and there are things that I do want now, which I would never thought I could be able to drink every day. One thing is my lovely green drink.
So one thing you mentioned here, which I think so many people struggle, myself included, prior Wildfit, was I tried so many diets, and it was always, pushing through it with my willpower. And yeah, I lost some weight and I felt a little greater and so on. But then once I slipped back into the old and tried to still kind of do it with the willpower, it didn't work. And I like how the program is built up that way, that it's kind of naturally giving you these experiences with your body and also mind and spirit, because you are a holistic system. And then from these experiences and observations and the awareness, you actually start to change and make different choices. Like when I was in the middle of it and understood, like, oh my God, like, they say you are what you eat, but it's also, your eating starts with a choice, what you put into your mouth or what you eat and how you eat. And that choice is, for so many people, there is no consciousness in that choice or awareness. And that's where things go south, kind of.
Yes, because often like willpower is like a muscle. You can keep it strong all the time, but at some point you have to relax it, because it can't hold forever. And when it really relaxes, then basically we have a feeling that we slipped or whatever. I can't do this diet and I'm going to move on. And then you get back because a lot of diets are meant on calorie restriction. And people often talk, yeah, it's all about calories in, calories out. No, it's not. Because if you take less calories in than you use, then that means your body will get a signal that, we are starving now. That means we have to slow down the metabolism so that we don't waste that much energy. We have to save every part of fat, because we don't know how long this lasts. And now next time you have 1 calorie more than you need in that day, it's immediately stored, because we never know when we have a starvation again. And that's why a lot of diets actually have like cheat days as well, so that you can relax your willpower once a week. Like you have a Saturday or Sunday cheat days, because we can't forever be in same. But Wildfit, the way it's built up week by week, is so that we make the changes in your diet, in your food, what you're eating, so that when we eat supportive stuff to our bodies, our mind is much better. And when we feel great, we don't want to lose that feeling. And therefore, when we do experiment with something that makes us not feel so good, we are also now noticing it, because the tools that the Wildfit gives you and also the better health in general allows you to notice it. And when you notice it, then you don't want to maybe go back to that, and you want to enjoy that high energy, the best sleep that you probably have and stuff like that. And you don't want to give it up. And then it's not about your willpower choosing that, oh, I'm not supposed to eat this. You just know that you don't want it because you know the consequences. It's the same way, like if we eat pizza, often we can take one slice and we can eat a second slice. And then in half an hour later, we feel like heavy and stuffed in our stomach. But if you would, and not so comfortable, but if you would have that feeling before the first bite, would we ever take it? And that's one of the main Wildfit principles, is that nothing tastes as good as healthy feels. And that's so true, because at the same time, we can have amazing tastes when we're eating healthy. I make an amazing banana cream pie for my different birthdays. I take it with me, so I have a nice cake to eat and others to share, and people love it. And that usually goes the first, because it's healthy and it's good, and we have those options. But yeah, it might take a little bit, like 5 minutes extra time to make it compared to maybe regular things, but it's worth the effort. And during the Wildfit, we actually learn how much worth it is, because the transformation that you gain and also the freedom that you got from it. And what I also have noticed with many of my clients is that often people don't want unsupportive stuff anymore, because when their body is taken care of previously, then they don't need those unsupportive stuff, because they're just quick fixes that our body, like you think you need, because you don't otherwise have energy, or you're like wake up in the morning and you need your coffee. But if you wake up morning energized, happy, go like 100%, you don't need that coffee to boost yourself. Maybe sometimes you will have it for the taste or like your ritual in the mornings, but they're just rituals. Your body doesn't need it. But when you're always like feeling bad and feeling sad and like, oh, and then you wake up in the morning, and of course you need to have that coffee, because otherwise you're so drowsy. But if you wake up energized, you don't need it. And many of my clients have just stopped coffee just because they don't want it anymore, without me or like the program telling them to stop it, because they just don't need it anymore in their life. And often it is like when we are giving our bodies what they need, then they don't want the stuff that they don't need.
Now, one of the big things with this program is, which was quite a challenge for me, was to actually figure out how I can switch my flip, which is connected to how to, get my body from burning carbohydrates and sugar into burning fat. And my flip was so like stubborn. It took like almost like 3 weeks, and it's totally understandable if all my life, most of it has been going through carbohydrates and sugars, then the body needs to have that transition period to understand like, oh, that's now what's happening. We can actually release fat. And the one key which really helped me was actually to increase the intake of healthy fats. And once I did that, my body understood that, okay, we have now abundance of fats, we can release the old one. And while this process started, then also, of course, all the toxins which were in those old fat cells started to come out. I got a little rash and stuff going on. But because of you as a coach, and we had other coaches as well, the group, it was really easy to go through these challenges. I can't imagine doing Wildfit completely alone. And that way also switching the flip from carbohydrates and sugar to fat burning was such a huge win and takeaway for me. But can you also talk a little bit more about sugar, because that's something also which really struck me as someone who I totally didn't even know how addicted to sugar I was, even though I didn't eat candies and stuff every day and so on. But it's also the hidden sugars, and so many ways we get the sugar in without even knowing, and that can do a lot of damage.
Yes. First of all, I want to stop by the mention of the group and the coaches. I'm in opinion that doing it with a coach and the group is much better compared to just doing the video program, because that support that you get from the group, it's amazing. Because one thing is me as a coach talking to you and supporting you and asking questions and guiding you how you should look or something like that. But when you have a group around you, then in that case, you're not alone. You have other people there that are going to the same struggle at the same time. And then they can support it. Some might be going through it faster, can flip the switch quicker. Some might be even slower. But it's both. It's like a spectrum. And everybody fits in there. And everybody supports each other on that line. And it's so hopeful to do that. Because they give you hope that you can do it. And they support you. Because me as a coach, like it will seem like my job is to help you and support you. But they are doing just for pure kindness. And that kindness gives you like that bit of little bit of willpower that to push yourself through to get that switch flipped so that you can go into fat burning. Because as you said, most of the time we are burning carbohydrates, burning sugars, because we get sugars everywhere. Like in Estonia, there was a study like over 50% of meat products have sugar in it. But if you take processed like sausages, hams and bacon and stuff like that, then it's more like 85% are full of sugars. And wow. Why would they need to put sugar into meat? That's because it's addictive. And the reason why it's addictive, it's biologically addictive. It's it gives you dopamine, but also in our biological clock, the way we have evolved from like growing 2,000 to 100,000 years, that sugars actually signaled a very important time of the season. It was fall season when we had a lot of fruit, a lot of sweetness in the trees. And that meant that the winter is coming. And when the winter is coming, we have to store everything. That's why nowadays there is a big problem with obesity and in general gaining weight, because when we're eating sugar, that signals our body that the winter is coming, that we are struggling now in the future, and we have to store as much of energy, water, and everything that we can now, because we never know what happens. But the winter never comes for us. We are constantly living in that abundant level of fruit, and that sugar is put in there because it also stimulates for you to have it next time as well. But also when we have sugars, our taste buds dumb down. Therefore, to get the next kick, we need more sugars and more sugars. And that's why they keep increasing it. They put more in it. So that, and they hide it in like plain sight. Like, why would it need to be there if it's not necessary? It's okay to if you take an apple, of course it has sugar in it. It's apple, it's a fruit. But if you take meat products, why is there sugar in it? Why do they need to put? And also they hide it in different names: dextrose, corn syrup, whatever, like fructose, and the people say, yeah, but it's like a natural sugar. It might be an actual sugar in a natural food, like a fruit. You get fructose from fruit. Why does it have to be fructose in meat? You don't get it there. It's not natural there. The sugar itself is natural, but where it belongs, that's not. And that's definitely one thing when we're going for the Wildfit. We are taking break of refined sugars and the processed sugars. And then we notice that, how much it is everywhere. And also our bodies are so addicted to it that when we try to remove it, we will have an amazing fight, as we call, with the sugar monster, who actually wants more and more of it. And therefore, when we're going and trying to flip the switch to get the carbohydrates down, we need to get rid of the sugars, but also other carbohydrates. Some people have done the keto diet, which also is meant for the fat burning, but it's a very quick and rapid way to get into it. But as you said, you have toxins in your body and in your fat that are accumulated there because fat is meant to protect us. And now when we are releasing fat, those toxins are coming out as well. So when you're just going cold turkey into keto diet, your body is not supported there. It will have to deal with everything. There's so much talks about keto flus, keto rashes. But we had a 50-person group, and I think only a couple had rashes, depending on how much detoxifying there was necessary. Most people didn't have so much issues because in our Wildfit program, it's not immediate. We are building up to it. We're supporting your body to be able to deal with it. Because some people might not immediately start releasing because their body needs to repair something. Make sure that your organs are in good shape, your blood is in good shape with all those supportive foods, and not immediately start releasing all the fat and all the toxins and hormones. I actually had a client that got that much release of hormones from the fat that it actually overwhelmed the hormonal spiral, and she got the period that she was not having for some time now because of that medical device. But that moment, the body overwhelmed it because the release from fat cells was such great, and they are meant to store us. But if our body is not ready to deal with it, then we have so much trouble. I have heard people who are in keto diets and they have lost their period at all, because when our bodies are in that great stress, then it's not good time for make a baby, and therefore our bodies will stop doing that. And that's why when we're doing flipping the switch and doing the so-called Wildfit Spring. We are not doing it forever. It's one season, and the idea is to cycle it because we need to give the body the break and to be able to repair. But at the same time, we need those carbohydrates because they're very important for our function. And that's why Wildfit as a lifestyle is so much greater, is that it's not only for short period. It's meant to be as a lifestyle, as for lifelong, and like living through those seasons, living through fall, because fall is a good season. We need to have fruit because there are also good vitamins. There are a lot of vitamins in like meat products and all that part, especially organ meats. But most people like to have the sweet taste of fruit and coconut and stuff like that. And that's completely normal. And it's okay because we can have healthy snacks. And also, as I mentioned, when we're trying to release fat, that we're doing in Wildfit Spring, and we are signaling our body it's abundance. We don't need to carry those things around. And in that point, the healthy fats are actually a good signal to our body that we're getting enough fat in. Therefore, we don't need the old one. We have the new, fresh, clean one without toxins, and we can release the old garbage. And then our body can let go and release. And because with the calories in, calories out counting, like we have like average how much you need to consume daily, but how much do you breathe out? How much do you poop out? Because fat basically did also to water and carbon dioxide. Like you basically breathe it out. And
I was surprised when it came out like you may breathe out like over or more than 80% of your fat. It's like, oh my God.
Because basically after the burning process, it comes out as carbon dioxide. And also I had a client in the group that counted some calories because she was a little bit worried with the switch. And it came out that she was eating like 1.5 times the normal calorie amount. And she was releasing fat because she was able to tone down the carbohydrates. And that means our bodies are in abundance and it doesn't gain the calories that you're overtaking because it doesn't need to gain them. It's the same if you're in a desert with like a bag of water and snacks. You're not going to drop that bag because it might fall off the dune, or you might like it go sink into the sand. You will never put it down. But if you get to the village where you have water, food, down, then you're secure. You can finally do it. And that's the same way we are teaching our bodies that if we have abundance, then we can release it. And that's the problem with the sugars, is that they are signaling that the winter is coming, the scarcity is coming, and we might starve if we don't save up all the energy, all the water, and that results us putting on fat. And nowadays, when we look outside, we can see a lot of that happening on the streets as well.
So now if people are interested to, have contact with you or jump on board with classes with Wildfit, where can they reach you?
They can reach me on Facebook on Health Coach Parker or just my profile, Harri Parker. Also, I have a website, healthcoachparker.com, where I have my next class is now. I will be starting soon as well. And all the information will be there. Mostly it's on socials, Facebook and Instagram. And also on Instagram, I'm Health Coach Parker.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And we discussed also some possible gifts for our listeners and watchers. What is it you would like to share with them?
I would offer, my plan was to offer a free coaching session. That's usually like a 45-minute, that there will be a link for that. And when you use the marked on a code Abundance in Action, then you will be able to get that free. And also when you come there and you're actually interested in Wildfit in general more, then you will get a 30% discount on that as well.
Mm-hmm. That's a very generous offer. And I know that there are so many people who should take advantage of that beautiful gift of yours.
Yes.
So thank you so much for your time and all the goodies and amazing insights you shared with us. And I wish you and all the projects you are working on great luck and lots of abundance in all of its forms. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the abundance. And I know that abundance will be flowing for you as well.
Yeah, thank you. And for our listeners and watchers, as always, please like, share, and don't hesitate also to write a review. You can write a review on our Abundance in Action podcast Facebook page, as well on iTunes review. And when you go to our Podbean page, you can always download the audio version first, because that also helps us with the download numbers. And usually beginning of the week, we put out the Podbean audio version of the new podcast. And then around Saturday, Sunday will come the YouTube version. So if you are a visual person, then also check out the video version as well. Thank you so much, and may there be so many more abundant moments for you and your loved ones. Stay safe and lots of aloha. Mahalo. Thank you so much for watching today's episode, and I hope and know that it must have been really interesting and inspiring. And because it was a little longer, we will also have part 2 coming up very soon. So please stay tuned, check out when the next one is up. And as always, like, share, review, and enjoy. Mahalo.